Okay, we are live. Woo-hoo-hoo. We are live. We are
Yes.
live. Yay. Okay, I'm going to see if I can go live. Good. We are live on Facebook and YouTube. And now we are live on Instagram. Woo, 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 we did it.
Ooh.
We had some technical difficulties, y'all, but we are here. So sorry for our tardiness, but we're going to have a good time. We're going to talk about what's going on. I'm Dawn Horizons for those of you that may not know me, and I am the founder and host of the BBNSC. What is that? It is the Black Business Networking Social Events, and we have an event coming up this Saturday, May 17th, 2025, right in the heart of Woodbridge. So we are maybe 40 minutes south of DC, 40 minutes north of Richmond. So wherever you are in the DC, Maryland area, you can get to us in the heart of Woodbridge. Almira, thank you for being here. I appreciate you. I don't know whose friend you are, who invited you, but she is showing up. And I'm so thankful that you're showing up. I just have
Oh,
us
it sounds
live
like my
on
cousin.
Okay. I have us live on Instagram too. Unfortunately, they won't be able to see you, but we are hosting an event this Saturday. So we have artists, recording artists from the DMV area. We have film producers, someone that has a record label. Like they're doing big things in the arts industry, and they are coming on Saturday, May 17th. And then I have some business owners that are near and dear to my heart because I am a businesswoman. I am like a serial entrepreneur. My guest Dawn, she used the word multipreneur. I'll take it. I'll accept it. And her and I are like business besties, and we'll talk maybe a little bit about how we met in our story. But I'm just so thankful to have her here. She is one of the vendors that are going to be at the BBNSC event this Saturday. So I'm going to let you tell her all about your business in just a moment. She wears two hats. Okay. So she is a vendor, but she is also an artist. So she has been putting out some poetry, some haikus. I'm watching her like, what in the world? Like this, she's growing, she's doing her thing. I'm enjoying it. They make you ponder and think, they make sense, they sound good. And so I'm just grateful to see her growth in the whole poetry scene and everything. And she makes me proud. Like I kind of inspired her for that. So she was coming out to see me, and then she was like, well, I think I want to do poetry. And I was like, yes, do it. So you get in that space, and it's like you get the fever. Like you got to do something. Like it just awakens your creative juices, so to speak. And she was already a
That's
creative.
true.
So now she's just writing her butt off with this poetry and the haikus. I'm like, okay. So she is going to be an artist as well. So I'm super excited to have her. I am super excited and just grateful to call her my friend. And we've been to New York and back together. You want to tell them that story?
Oh
It's
yeah.
a funny
So
story. But
yeah.
wait,
So for
first I
those,
want you to introduce yourself. We're talking to
oh
Dawn Nash Rutland. I want you to
yes.
introduce yourself, who you are, and what you do. We're gonna be here half the
Okay.
night just for that part.
We're gonna be here half the night. Okay, well, good. Whatever time of day it is for you. My name is Dawn Nash Rutland. I am a multipreneur, and I wasn't always comfortable saying that because usually people will tell you to stay in your lane. Lane meaning one thing, but you know what? You can't sit on what God gave you. So I'm gonna do whatever He gave me to do. And, one of the things that I don't want to do is leave here without doing what he has
Come on.
entrusted me and gifted me to do.
Yes.
So and I'll do it in order the way things happen.
Okay.
First of all, I'm eclectic Dawn. If you notice my frames, I have
I hope you can
always,
hear her.
probably since middle school, really elementary school, worn glasses. And so I have never worn contacts. And so I just think, especially now, there are so many brands of
Keep
glasses.
talking.
And
I'm going to
so
get my
I just see
glasses.
it as a creative. Yes, get your glasses. Creative expression. I call it my little portable sunshine. And so that's one of my creative forms of expression. Now, what's special about that is I specialize in doing prescription frames. So you can go just about anywhere now and they're called window panes. They don't have a prescription. But for those of us who actually need to see and need assistance doing so, I'm your girl for that. So I love bling. And I can customize your bling because some colors I have, you will not be able to get anywhere else. And so that's what I do. I started that when I was young, and just started it because it was, part of my self-care even when I was young. Didn't know that, but it became a business. And so whenever I have the opportunity, and the thing about it is, anytime I have done someone's glasses, once they put them on their face, they smile. That's why I call it portable sunshine. So I
Yeah.
do that, and that's kind of like my handmade creatives. That was the first business I started, and I'll tell you one thing about that. I actually went to a mall and saw a business called Eclectic Dawn, and I had already been given that name or whatever. And so, what the Lord told me about that is, you sat on it too long, and so somebody else is kind of in that lane with your same name. That was a
Mm,
stark reality for me, and it's
mm.
always a reminder to me to, when you're given a vision, go ahead and move forth.
Excuse me.
Now, I can't really say that I've always, just went ahead, because we second guess things and wonder about provision for the vision and all that. But
She
that
preaching
was a
already,
stark
y'all.
reminder to me.
Okay.
Ah, my second multi-tier of multipreneurship is framed just right. As Dawn said, I was with her, traveling with her. They allow me to travel with them, and Kim B. Miller, who is the poet laureate in three areas. And so we went to a poetry, I won't call it a slam, but it was a venue. And so
Hmm.
if you know me, if we go somewhere, I'm not going to be a slouch. So they were performing, they signed up, and I was like, well, let me sign up. So then, they were calling poets to the stage, and I started sitting there writing. I was like, oh no, I'm not going to go out like that. I got to represent. And that's kind of how I started. So in
Wait,
that
pause
arena, I
on.
pretty much had
Pause
no
for a second
fear.
because I need them to understand
Uh,
that you went there with Kim and I to be supportive and you like
uh-huh.
poetry and she got the
Right,
fever and she was like, okay, I want you.
right.
She wrote the poem while she was sitting there listening to other people and it was
I
good.
did. I
And
did.
the host was like,
Oh,
what? You
thank
just
you.
wrote that? That was really good. And remember, everybody even clapped like a second time after sharing that because that's talent, y'all. I just have to say, like, that's talent. That's art. She's a very artsy, creative person. So it's kind of natural for her to be able to go in these different directions because she's a creative, like through and through, she's a creative. And she's an intelligent creative because
Oh,
she was an educator for how many years?
oh gosh, 30 plus.
See, see, and she don't look like what she
Mm-hmm.
been through. Don't she look young, y'all? She look young.
Oh, thank
Sorry, y'all
you.
can't see her on
But
Instagram, but you can come and see her on Saturday.
Uh, but you know what? And I'll tell you why I did it and why I didn't do it. And I have a poem I have not released yet, because some poems it's easy for you to just get up there and do. Some it speaks to someone else. But this
Mm,
poem was for me, and I may do it Saturday, because the
okay.
reason why I have been writing poetry since I was 9. Didn't I think I
Me
performed it
too.
once?
Nice.
Oh
Yes.
goodness. Yeah,
So much
we
we
got
have
a
in
lot in
common.
common. We do. And so I did not, after that one time I did it like for Mother's Day, I had not done it for years. And I'm talking about 30 plus years,
Mm,
because I was silenced by a bully. And so you'll
mm.
probably hear that poem on Saturday. So
Okay.
that's another thing I would say. Do not let, and I don't like to say haters because you don't know if they're
Mhm,
haters or not, but don't let people silence your gift. And that is very, very sometimes difficult, depending on the space you're in, depending on the headspace you're in. Sometimes it's
mhm,
very difficult. So for this birthday, I just said, Lord, whatever you gave to me, I'm going to use it. And, if you told me to use it, then you got somebody that needs it. And you're also going to have somebody that's probably going to come alongside me in some kind of way, whether
mhm,
that be financial assistance, whether it be giving words of wisdom, whether it has to do with
mhm.
shadowing, whatever it is that I need. See, I'm no longer afraid of that. So whatever it is, you're gonna see me doing all the
Goodbye,
things.
fear.
What?
I said goodbye, fear. Goodbye, fear.
Yeah, I mean, it's too late for that. It really actually is too
Hmm.
late for that. So that's where I am right now. And I'm kind of sorry that it took me so long to get here. Only you know when you've gotten there. People can tell you what they tell you, but you
Hmm.
gotta know it
Hmm.
in yourself when it's just time to go for it. And so
Hmm.
whatever
Hmm.
area he's given me, that's what I'm going for. And I think that covers, so my poet name is framed
Okay.
just right. And right
Framed.
is spelled
Framed. That's right.
framed, framed just right. And so it's a double entendre. It also means, growing up, I was never a skinny girl. But you know
Mm.
what? In the eyes of God, I'm framed just right,
Come
and
on
I'm
now.
framed just right. So
That's
when I
right.
go up to the mic, that has dual meaning for me, and
Hmm.
hopefully it will inspire someone else. So that's the poetry part of me. I'm an event poet. I write, and I have a book coming out. I actually have two poetry affirmation books for kids. Um,
Mm-mm.
yeah, but now I'm an event poet as well. So I've done a couple of events. So one of the ways that you can get people to participate is to, have them come together. Sometimes that's a
Hmm.
greeting, but as an event poem, my greeting is to everyone simultaneously, and it allows them to participate. So if you have an event and you need an event poet, and I customize it to your event, and I also get to know the host so that I can just go ahead and saturate the atmosphere with the warmth of the ambiance that's needed for that occasion. So that's where I am with that. I love doing that, and I love writing poetry. And I believe that's for any poet. I believe every poet may have something that they have not shared
Yes.
publicly. There are some poems that you have to do it as part of your inward healing, but sometimes
Yes.
it's just for you. And so that's it. But the ones that are not just for me are the ones I share. And then there
Yes.
comes seasons and times where um God will tell you to go ahead and release it. You never know who's in the audience, and who needs to hear what you have penned. So that's
Yes.
another reason why I love that. It's part of self-care. Anytime I
Yes.
sit down and write, it's part of I'm a word nerd, so the complexity of rhyming, and the schematics of that, and the knowledge base that goes with the intricacies of the word are, it's like doing a puzzle for me. So that's
Yeah.
very relaxing. So, and then she told me to move on. So
She's
recently,
good with her words, y'all.
I tried. Well, I was an educator. I better be good with my words.
Right?
But yeah, but I was when I was little, they used to call me Encyclopedia Brown. I was a girl who actually read. That's back when it wasn't online. When your
Right.
parents saved up their money, it was the brown and black Encyclopedia Britannica,
From A
and
to
it
Z.
had
Yep.
that
I
little
remember it.
the little fancy gold foil on it,
Hmm.
that I
Hmm.
used to sit and read them in alphabetical order. So my little nickname growing up was Encyclopedia Brown. But
Yeah.
love words, as do you,
Yes.
as do
I
you.
used to read a few encyclopedias or dictionaries. That was my
Yep,
thing.
that
And
too.
looking up
Yep,
dictionaries. Yep.
yeah, because
So
it's
I love words
amazing.
too.
Yeah, because the English language is very complex too.
Yeah.
There are rules that you follow most of the time, and there are always rules that don't follow the rules. So I found that very interesting too. Um, I'm certified in language arts, so that is one of my absolute loves. And what I find is when you do things, it's not going to be too far off from your giftings, even if they seem totally unrelated. They usually are. You can see a common thread in what you do. And so sometimes people don't see the common thread, but I
Mhm.
know there's a common thread, and I know you know there's a common thread in what you
Mhm.
do. Um,
Yeah.
so that's good. So that is speaks to frame just right. Then I have Du Jour Publishing, which I recently launched, and
Mhm.
my mom was very instrumental. We always grew up with books in the house, and in 2019, very, very early 2019, 2 days, I was still teaching at that time. Uh,
Mm.
2 days before school started, my mom's heart was functioning at 10%. And
Oh.
so, yeah, so she wanted to come with me, and I was her caregiver. My dad was very supportive, but I'm the only girl, so she came.
Mhm.
And 2 days before school, I went and got her, and that was one of her wishes. So we came and we had a great time, but I was still working full time as an educator. So when I would come home, I would she was like, I thought you're supposed to be writing. And I said, well, I can't be working all day and then just walk past you and sequester myself in a room and write. Cause I didn't think that was too respectful. But she was with me from August of actually 2019 until May, and she passed. And so one of the ways in which I honored her and the legacy of literacy that she passed down to me and my
Mm.
brothers was to release my first book. It was a hair journal, because that's one of the
Mhm.
things that we bonded over. The hair magazines, every month that one came out,
Mhm.
and we would purchase them, and we have our little tea and crumpets and look at the hairstyles, so we recreate and that kind of thing. And so that was a bonding time. People bond over different things, but we
Yeah.
bonded over hair, and that's still a passion of mine. So hair, and Dawn came with me when I got to vend at be an artisan at the ubiquitous hair fair. I got to bring my hair journal, and that was just it was like the fulfillment of
Yeah.
a item on my bucket list, and it was also to honor my mom's legacy of literacy, which I am still doing through Du Jour Publishing. Now, most people think, okay, you're a publisher, and I'm a self published author. But when you look at there, I don't think my goal at this stage, I will kind of tear it out. But at this time, what I really want to do is focus, because the market is saturated with self publishers, I think. That's a great thing. And then you also want to find one that's a fit for your personality. What
Yes.
I want to do I'm a teacher, and I have created journals. But what I find is some people don't know how to journal properly. And there are different tiers and levels and topics and ways in which you journal. And sometimes we aren't able to look back and see the results because we haven't approached it properly in the manner we journal. Just like
Mm.
when we can read for
Mhm.
information. That's tax papers,
Mhm.
newspaper,
Mhm.
news. We can read for enjoyment. So I read probably 3 to 4 different, we'll call them periodicals or books
Okay.
simultaneously, because I'm going to get different types of information. And that's honestly, um, so you can also journal that way, it depending
Mhm.
on your purpose for journaling. And
Mhm.
that's what I want to kind of build curriculum around and
Mm.
start focusing on, because you want outcome based journaling. Some journaling
Mm.
you're going to do just to look back at, and is
Mhm. Or
to
brain dump.
you know right, it's
Mhm.
a brain dump, or it's cathartic. But there are sometimes you want to journal, and it should be result oriented other than
Mm.
just being cathartic. And so that's what I want to get into. I would like to work with industry professionals that
Mm.
have specific things they are working on, and teach the people who they are servicing how to journal for results. that they
That's
can
good.
actually document and look back at and see their progress. So not
Yeah.
so that moves beyond the initial stage of brain dumping, which is great too. I do a
Yeah.
brain dump every morning
Hmm.
because otherwise I'm not I don't sleep well if I have things on my mind, and I don't
Yes.
start the day well if I have a lot of things on my mind. So it's
Hmm.
almost like a to-do list or what you want to accomplish. And so that's great. But there is
Hmm.
journaling that goes beyond that. And so that's what I want to spend my first year working with clientele who want that for the people that they are providing services for, because that's also freeing. And at the end,
Yes.
you will be able to reflect and see your journey and your results. So
Yes.
it's
Yes.
results-based journaling.
Hmm.
So that's what
Marie
does your
says,
publishing.
let me give you this comment. Marie says, wow, I did not know there was a way to journal. Like you said, a
Wow.
proper way. I didn't really think about it either, but as you're saying it, I'm like, okay, that makes sense. And I do journal um, for different, things. So
Right.
there is the mind dump, the brain dump, the heart dump. Writing your pain, and it helps you to release that. So there are different things, but I just didn't consider it in like a formal way as far as different ways of journaling. I just felt like what it was that I needed or I was trying to accomplish at that time that I did that. But I didn't really categorize it. So I was like, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. And you can do that. I mean, some people do kind of lump things together, but then there are some people that are, okay, I'm good with this area. What I really want to focus on is this area, this other specific area. And there's probably a specific way for you to journal that, whether it be
Mhm.
weight loss, whether it be your bucket list, whatever it is. There is I would like to start introducing formulas for journal
Okay.
results based,
Mm.
um, results driven ways to journal. And so, and trust me, anytime I say something, I'm a first partaker because I know my mind kind of goes all over the place. It's like, "Doo, doo, doo." But,
Mm-hmm.
and then I said, you know what? You need to stick to one thing. And what do you want to have come from that? And
Mm.
so I came up with a formula for that. Um,
Okay.
so I'll be sharing that and I'm probably going to develop curriculum around that and that kind of thing. And
I love it.
so,
And it
yeah,
sounds like that's something that could be good for schools, like in a school system, but as
absolutely.
also for adults. I also feel like, that can be healing.
It
Um,
is.
well, we know journaling is healing in and of itself, but like to
It
learn
is.
how to do it and use this formally as a
Yes.
tool for releasing or for results, can only
Yes.
bring about better, good things. And so I'm excited about that for you and for the people
Yeah.
that will be able to partake in it. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Because sometimes we don't stick, and I'm talking to myself, sometimes we don't stick with something long enough to
Say that.
see the outcome that we want to see. And that's
Mm-hmm.
it. Or to reflect. Reflection, I mean, you can
Mm,
have daily reflection, but when you look back and you look over what you've written, there's a way to reflect to kind of bring some culmination or some aha
mm,
moments that'll help you get to the next level. So that is my passion, because I had to sit there and think about it, because I know when people
mm,
ask you, well, what do you do? Who do you talk to? Who do you help or whatever? And I was like, I would like people to focus journaling. And that doesn't
mm,
mean you can't journal in other ways. It might mean you need a separate book to do certain
mhm,
things in,
mhm. Like a free
with.
write. Mhm,
Exactly. And that's a beautiful thing, because I know I have pretty much journals in every single room in my house. And it's not because I need to find it, it's because I have different things in them. I have a
mm,
poetry journal.
mhm,
Um,
mhm.
because sometimes before I write the poem, I write the thoughts down. Why am
That's
I
good.
writing this poem? What thoughts are with me when I craft this poem? When did the first thought of this poem come about? What was happening at
Wow.
that time? And then I put it down, because then it makes much more sense to me when I
Mhm.
reflect on it. Now, the
Yeah.
hearer in the audience is going to take from it what they take from it. Sometimes
Right.
people don't take from a poem what you intended, but that's the beauty of a poem. They're
Yeah.
going to get what they need out of the poem,
Yeah.
even though they can relate to what you said. But for
Hmm.
me, I do a not so much a pre-write, but it's a mindset, and it's a foreword,
Hmm.
a foreword to my
Hmm.
own
Hmm.
poem. So
Hmm.
that's, where I am with that.
That's good.
So that's what I would like to do, and then branch out, because yes,
Hmm.
I will probably be publishing some people, and some people have asked me to publish them. But
Hmm.
the method of
Let's do
journaling.
a writer's workshop, because there's some things. So I teach writing for wellness and using
Okay.
various tools or ways, similar but different, in writing to release. You know, so I think that that might be something, and we can talk about it more offline. But let's think about
Okay.
putting something like that together this year, and
Okay.
help maybe some of our viewers, our friends, family, or whoever, with a writing workshop, and just helping them. And even like Marie said, she didn't know there was a way to journal, or that there was different, types of journaling. And so that's something that you can teach, and we'll bring all the things together. So yeah, let's talk about that. And of course, poetry. And then people can write
Yeah.
to just release, or they can write to perform it, or whatever. But we can give them some of the tools, and some strategies, and then let them have an opportunity to use them, and then show them, to each other or whoever it is that attends. So yeah, we can talk about
That's
that more offline.
that sounds like
So
that sounds like a collab. Snap,
absolutely,
snap,
collab.
snap,
Yes,
snap.
absolutely. Snap,
Yes.
snap. So
Yeah.
I think recently
Well,
I
I
saw a
will
post.
go ahead.
Go ahead. No, you go ahead. Finish.
Now, I was gonna. I know you're gonna say something about a post. I was gonna say I was avidly journal writing when I was a teenager, and
Mm.
my little antidote to myself is God saved me, but journaling saved my life, because
Ooh.
that journal was so candid that
Mm,
I
mm,
went to
mm.
visit my uncle for the summer, and I had to dispose of it. I disposed of it in 3 different airports. I didn't even want anybody to find it in its entirety, because I was
Wow.
so very, very, very honest about my feelings. And
Wow.
it wasn't bad. I was just very honest. I didn't even want it to stay in my house, because I was so honest.
Wow.
And so as we went and we
Wow.
were getting ready to go through a part of the airport, I'm like, doop, here's 1/3, doop, here's the second
Wow.
third, and that's it. Do I regret that I didn't keep it now? Yes.
Mm,
But
mm,
it's okay,
mhm,
because I know the process I went through to write it. And you know what? It was
mm,
results based, because I'm
mm.
still here.
Okay,
You
amen.
know,
And
I
as you
didn't,
say
yeah.
that, that makes me think of one of our sister friends, that we've also gone together to see poetry, and that is Miss Cayenne. And she
Yeah.
talks about, she has a motto, I'm a poet and I know it. Miss Cayenne, she hosts Busboys and Poets in Hyattsville, Maryland, and she often talks about
Mhm.
journaling saved her life with traumatic childhood and various things that she went through. I don't remember if it was a teacher, somebody gave it to her, and she began writing, and she found a love in that. She found a release in that. And she talks about how the pen for her was literally healing. And we use that kind of metaphorically, but for some of us it's literally. I've had experiences where it's literally, for me too, healing in the pen. And she shares a little bit about her story and how, like, journaling saved her life. Like, it helped her to process through the different things that she had went through. I also, is coming to mind now, Khalil Houston. That's his testimony as well. And the loss of his brother being murdered and things, he took to writing. And that's something that helped him to
Yeah.
heal and helped him to process. And so he writes about some of the issues of our culture. some of the taboos and things that we don't talk about, and through us not talking about these things, create a systemic taboo issue, that we have in our
Mhm.
culture because we don't talk about it. And so he talks about writing saves lives. That's his, coin for that. Similar to healing in the pen. And he says how writing saved his life, basically, and helped him
Yeah.
to process through grief and trauma and things like that. And so it is very important. It is definitely a way um for release of feelings, for thoughts, and just all of that. Also a way to kind of keep yourself organized, and um your
Yep.
thoughts, your day-to-day activities or whatever. So I definitely can see what you're saying, and like different types of journaling and different purposes for journaling. And I think that that's something that's really good. I commend you for even sitting down to like really give that thought, because now that can help some of us. Like I've been doing it, but I didn't give enough thought to think like I'm doing different types of journaling. To me, it's just all one and the same. So I love that, and we definitely can, teach that to some people and help them through that process and show them what it looks like. That's great. I can't wait to collab with you.
Yeah. Ew, that sounds good. Yeah.
Yes,
But
yes.
yeah. And so I don't have a traumatic story as far as home life. I had some very, very loving parents. My parents spoke life into me. My dad was an entrepreneur at a young age. And so that's kind of where the bug bit me as an
Mm,
entrepreneur. Almost everybody in my family had something they did by day and another stream of income. And so that's kind of how I grew up and saw that. And it was just a
okay.
matter of what I was going to do. My mom spoke, like I said, she was the literary person. She made sure we had plenty of books. She spoke life into me. She always told me I could do whatever I wanted to do, be whatever I wanted to be. But how many of you know we can't stay in the house all the time? We go outside. And outside really was my battleground. It was my battleground. So it wasn't in my house, it was outside of my house. And so I had to take my mind other places creatively
Mm,
in order to
mhm.
survive some of that.
Wow, wow. Okay, so we're winding down a little bit here on time. We got about 14 minutes left. Tell us about your newest
Okay.
endeavor. I'm excited about that. John T.
Wow. I am too, because yes, I am okay. So the name was like a no-brainer. I'm a Philly girl. I grew up in Philly. I went to college in Philly, and there's just a whole different vernacular when you're from Philly. And so everything, I mean, even if you look at Abbott Elementary, Quinta Brunson will refer to, you'll hear Jawn,
Mhm,
Jawn, and anything, it is the part, it is the most, I mean, it's a noun, but it's a proper noun. It's a common noun. It's a person, place, thing, or idea. And literally, you can replace it. Um, you can replace it at will. Now,
mm,
sometimes it's vernacular. Sometimes it's to, because you don't run it, really say what it is. But when you say it, like if you went to a party and you said, oh, that John was the bomb.
mhm,
Okay. It could have been a party. It could have been a quinceanera. It could have been the Eagles game. It could have been whatever, an event. Okay.
mhm, mhm,
Um, or you could say, oh, that John was delicious. You don't know if it was a cheesesteak, a hot
mhm,
dog, a water ice and pretzels, whatever. But you can use it for so many things. And so my tagline for that, which I just thought about, what is the tagline? It's all the things. Okay.
mm,
So you're gonna find with John T all the things. It's going to have some faith based. It's going to have some Phillyisms. It's going to have some
mm,
words of wisdom. One of my favorite scriptures is take with you words. So I am the graphics are basically going to be words because words are power. Death and life is in the power of the tongue.
mm,
And so I want the shirts to represent what a person is feeling on that given day, or the
That's
word that
good.
they need to take to them for them, or wear as armor. It's kind of like urban armor. That's how I look at
Yes,
it.
I love it. I love that.
Yeah. So I am excited about it. I used to do t-shirts probably like 30 years ago, and technology has advance so much. There's so many
Mhm,
ways to do things. And so I'm happy that I can do that. So I'm getting my store up. I'll probably be adding every week. That's one of my brain dumps. Every time I wake up, I have an idea. I always said to myself, well, when I was teaching, one of my ways that signaled, like the end was coming to an end, the school
mhm.
year, I would have shirts at least the last 3 weeks. I would wear a
Oh,
school shirt
wow.
every day. And so I said to myself, you know what? I want personal t-shirts that just, how you get up and you put on a color because it inspires you. I want to be able to
Yes.
put on a t-shirt and be like, oh, that's the shirt I need to wear today.
Mhm,
Or
mhm. I
I'm
love it.
feeling this way today. And that's kind of what I want. And then I want other people to be able, I want it to speak to occasions,
Mm,
and feelings and emotions and thoughts
mhm,
for those that will come to my Printify store and purchase. And I'll take ideas as well. Because
mhm.
because sometimes people want to see something and they're not going to do it themselves. So they might be like,
Yeah.
hey, this sounds like and it's so funny because when people speak, I'm like, ah, that sounds like a t-shirt. So I
Mhm,
kind of listen with different ears, but
mm,
I love t-shirts. I would probably give away my other clothes to be able to wear t-shirts all day.
mhm. And you saw me
Because there's
looking around just now because I thought I had it avidly, right available on my desk, but I haven't put it away. I have because I'm always writing notes, stickies, notebooks, journals, all of
Mhm.
the things. I have papers and papers and papers and envelopes that I wrote on. I could be in church, I could be driving, I could be wherever,
Yeah.
and I get a t-shirt idea. And so I've been writing these all down. I have a t-shirt store. I think I have like I don't know 5 or 6 or something, but I haven't really
Mhm.
talked about it or whatever. And I have literally probably 30 to 50 more that I just
Mhm.
haven't done yet. So I'm like you, creative and just wanting to do all
You are.
the things.
Yep.
But time is
You
yeah.
are.
So anyway, it's coming out because it's all coming out this year. It's all coming out
Yeah.
this year. So we're gonna be there.
Yeah.
And so when we were growing up, like t-shirts were something you wore in the summertime, well, spring and
Right.
summertime, right? But
Right.
now and in the past 20, 30 years or so, they wear t-shirts. Like that's not something that you put away in the fall and winter
Right.
months. T-shirts stay out all year long. And I
Yes.
was like, huh. So this, I mean, you can never go wrong with a t-shirt. And I've seen people
Right.
dress it up, which I think you did the other day, and I'm sure you
Yes.
will, with some pearls or a necklace or whatever, and have your blazer. So you can dress a t-shirt up, you could dress it down, it could be somewhere in between. And so I love that versatility of t-shirt. And then I call it
Yes.
statement shirts. I don't know if that's a
Yes.
thing, that's a term. I
It
call it
is.
statement shirts, that it's saying something that you want to say about yourself, about
Exactly.
the world, about whatever. And I saw
Exactly.
somebody with a t-shirt the other day, so simple. And it was like, can I pray for you? And I was like, I want that. So yeah, can I pray for you?
Yeah.
And I saw
Because then
somebody else
you don't have to
like,
say it.
do you want a hug or can I hug you or available for hug? Something like that with hugs on it. And I was like, that is so cool. That is so cool.
It
So like
is. It
these
is.
statement shirts can not just make a statement, but I feel like just being healing to other people, even by seeing it on you, reading it on you, they can be inspired, empowered, encouraged, educated, motivated, all of the different things. We don't know what a person needs. And sometimes we wear a smile, we have a smile, but you don't know the pain behind that smile. Now, what if
It's
your
very
t-shirt could
true.
speak to that pain and you never said a word? And even just the colors, like
Exactly.
I'm loving your hot pink fuchsia that you have on right now. That's a happy color for me. I mean, it is in a general scheme of colors, but
It is.
your fuchsia is saying something, and I love that. So even the colors can be uplifting, and y'all know I'm certified holistic health and everything. So there's healing behind the colors, and we can use color for therapy, for
Yes.
releasing, for calming, all of these things. And so having your statement on your t-shirt or particular color, that's double healing right there. The words and the color can speak to someone and brighten up someone
Agreed.
else's day based on what you're wearing. And I love that. I love that.
I agree.
Maybe you have to
I'm
have an
basically,
educator's line.
oh,
You may have to have an
you know
educator's
that.
line.
I do. I have, that was one of the first things I wrote. I was traveling and I went through Penn Station, and I didn't, my daughter was in college. So this was about 8 years ago. And I was like, it was a 10-hour train ride because I
Mm,
decided I was going to, have some self-care and ride on the train and write. So I bought this, and probably, it is probably the most expensive journal. But I bought a Kate Spade journal. It had nothing but line pages. And that
mhm.
entire
Slow down.
10-hour
Your
ride
voice is breaking up. You bought a
is,
what kind of journal?
I bought a Kate Spade journal. It was a designer
Oh, yeah.
journal.
Okay.
And it had
Okay.
nothing but lines. And the
Mm,
entire 10 hours, believe it or not. So she has been out of school probably 4 or 5 years. And this was when she was in undergrad. So I sat there and wrote probably 15 pages of t-shirts that I never did. And
wow.
it's still in a journal. So, I mean,
Wow.
that speaks to journaling too. You have an idea, a business-based journal.
Yeah.
An
Yeah.
idea. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I'm going to, and I was like, I knew it was for an appointed time. I didn't
Uh-huh.
quite know how. I was like, I know I can't keep doing hand shirts for everybody. Like,
Mhm.
but now's the time. So everything is for an appointed time.
That's good.
And
That's
I,
so we can get in a whole tangent. Excuse me, a tangent on that about things being for a point in time. And like, don't to those that you watching and you're hearing this, what Dawn is talking about, and all the different things that she's doing. Um, get some paper, a book, a notebook, a pen, pencil, marker, whatever, a journal, and write these things down. You may have the idea in the moment, write it down then when you have the idea. It doesn't mean you have to do it today or tomorrow, but
mm-mm.
put it down on paper, because oftentimes that's the Holy Spirit directing you, guiding you to this particular thing, giving you these God ideas. And if you don't do it at that
Yes.
moment, you're not going to remember. 9 times out of 10, you're not going to remember, especially if it's years later, like what she is sharing. So it wasn't necessarily for then when she wrote it down, but now, years later, she can reflect back on it. And it's still as prevalent, it's still as needful today as it was back then when she wrote it, but it wasn't necessarily her timing to start it then
Right.
or to release it at that time. And here's the thing, she can look back and be like, I should have did it. Don't do that to yourself. Let me release you from that right now. Give yourself grace. If you didn't do it when you first thought of it, or you got the idea or whatever, release yourself from that, because everything happens at the point in time. And just because you got the idea 5 years ago, 20 years ago, it doesn't mean that that was the right time to do it. In my brain, if that was the right time to do it, you would have done it then. God would have allowed it then, but he didn't. And so it's for now. It's for now. But God used you in that sense and gave you these downloads so that you can write it down. And now you have a plethora to pull from to get
Yeah.
these T's out.
Yes.
So for
Yeah.
anyone that's feeling like, I'm this age or so much time has passed and all of those different things, don't set yourself up for failure. Don't let the enemy pick at you and get in your head what you shoulda, coulda, woulda did. Because if you were supposed to, you would have. The fact that you didn't, it wasn't for then. You might have got the idea then. It's for now. So if God is saying it's for now, maybe it's not for now. Maybe it's for 2 years from now. But point being is,
Right.
don't beat yourself up about things that you didn't do. Okay. Ask God, what is the
That's true.
timing for me? Should I do this now? Because God
Yeah.
wastes nothing. Nothing is wasted. He uses everything. So if he gave you something before and you didn't use it then, the time is going to be coming up for you to have an opportunity to use that thing. So for those of you that feeling I'm this age or whatever happened and I should have did this and I didn't do this, like release it, like let it go, breathe. And really, I'm serious, release it, because you'll put yourself in a tailspin. And those thoughts are like condemning thoughts. That's not God. They don't come from God. He comes to convict us of sin, of wrong living or unrighteousness, but he doesn't condemn you. He doesn't like hold your head underwater, making you feel bad for all the things that you didn't do. If you were supposed to have done something, you would have done it. Okay. Good, bad, or indifferent. So you didn't do it. It is what it is. Start now. You can't change the past. And if you keep going back and looking back at the past, it's like you're dragging your past through your present and into your future. And you're never going to really attain or get what God wants for you or be able to walk in freedom if you always constantly looking back. That rear view mirror is supposed to show you how far you've come. It's not meant for you to keep looking back. If you keep looking in the rear view, you're going to bump into what's in front of you. And so if God has something for you, which he does, Jeremiah 29:11, the plans and thoughts that he has for us are good and not evil, to give us a hope and a future and an expected end. We may not have expected, we may not know. And this is why we need to be connected with him and get in our word, but he knows. So as long as we're connected with him, he's going to take us around the mulberry bush if that's what we need to do, like the Israelites in the wilderness. That's what they needed to do in order to get to the place that he had for them, in order to get to the mindset, to get to the place that he had for them. He had to work some things out of them. So if you didn't do it already, know that it wasn't for you to do in that time, and seek him now about what is the timing for you to do that thing. But do not allow the enemy or yourself to condemn yourself for things that you have not done. What is the focus right now in what you're supposed to be doing? Keep looking at your past. You're not enjoying the present, and it is a present because it is a gift. And you cannot fully go into your future or enjoy your future when you keep looking back into the past. You're going to bump into all types of stuff. So if that's you, or you're watching this on a replay and that's you, comment, reach out to Dawn, reach out to myself. If you want someone to lock arms with you and pray or encourage you, reach out to us. But know that time is not lost for you. If it was supposed to happen, it would have. When should it happen? Now in this timing and going forward. Because again, if you're lamenting over the past, you're not even clear enough to hear, well, what is he saying now? What is the now word? What does he want you to do now? You're going to be missing that. So we had a few people join us over on Instagram land. So they're not able to see you, but they're hearing you, and they're able to see me. So we're on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. Thank you all for watching. Thank you, Facebook and YouTube, for tuning in. Unfortunately, we have to come to a close. And Dawn and I are good friends, and we could just go on because we just, just the creativity, the gifts that God has given to us, and just loving, the Lord. We can just go on and on. You can see that Ms. Dawn Nash Rutland is a creative. She is doing a plethora of things, and things that matter. Let me say that. Things that can make a difference in our world, things that can make a difference in your life and how you see the world and how you deal with life situations and circumstances. So I'm inviting you out again, releasing the invitation to come and meet her in person. Come look at her coloring books, her affirmation books, get a book signed, get a hair journal signed. We didn't even really talk about that, but she has a whole story history with hair. And if you know Dawn and you see her, every time her hair is different. When me and Dawn go meet up, I have no idea what her hair is going to look like. And I don't care. Whatever it is good. I like it and it looks good on her. But like, she's so spontaneous and she just can't have the same thing. So we have a lot of similarities, in a lot of different ways. And so I just love her. I'm grateful for her. I'm so glad I got to share her with you all tonight. I'm so grateful that she has been a member of the BBNSC. She is like a long stay, like she's been there 2023 or so. But like I do 4 events a year. So I want to say she's been to like 10 of 12 or 9, something like that. She's been there. And that's how we met actually at one of my events. But I think she saw me online before then. So you're going to have to come on Saturday and you're going to have to find out how we met and what went awry on the trip to New York. Ask about the cell phone.
Oh goodness.
About the cell phone. about the taxi cab. It was a night. Okay. It was a night. We had a great time and we got back safely.
Mhm.
But God, you got to hear the story. It's funny. Or I'm gonna have to get you on another live. You're gonna have to tell the story because it's funny
That's
now. It
okay.
wasn't funny then, but yeah, we're gonna have to
No, it
talk about.
wasn't.
So, Dawn, I love you. Thank you so much. Almira said
Love you
this was
back.
great. She said, thank you both. She said
Oh,
that she's proud of you. I know that
oh, thank
Marie,
you guys.
she enjoyed it as well. And then there have been a few people on the Instagram side that have been watching. And so they joined and they waving and all of this stuff. So it was a great interview. Thank you so much for sharing your creativity
Thank
with us.
you.
And I look forward
Thank
to
you.
seeing you on Saturday. We will be there at 2 p.m. Vendor setup is at 12. But for
Okay.
the people, 2 p.m. And we're going to just have a good time. So if you are a creative, and even if you're not, you can have a good time. It is an open mic, so the mic will be open. We do have some phenomenal, like blazing hot fire recording artists that are going to be there. Okay. And some phenomenal vendors. And so just want to share them with you and expose them to the community and know that we're out here doing things that God has called us to do to make a difference in our community, in our lives, in our families' lives, but also in the community. So I ask you to come out, support the vendors, support the artists, support the community. This is for y'all. And guys, having an event is not easy. Hosting it and all that stuff is not easy. And September officially is going to be 5 years. I started in
Wow.
September 2020. Well, technically, I started before then, and I've had Club Mariah and another open mic thing, but this has been running for 5 years coming up. That's a big deal. So I'm excited about that. I'm so grateful to God about that, for the platform and for the people that have come alongside to help and to support. And you've been a great supporter. And so publicly, I just want to say thank you. I love you so much. Thank you for
Love you
spending this
back.
time with me. Thank you to you guys for watching on social media land. Tomorrow night, we will be having me. I need somebody to interview me tomorrow. So there'll be another interview tomorrow. We have a late entry, Bishop somebody, I don't even know, but he was recommended. Bishop somebody is going to be coming, and he sings and he does some gospel music. So he's going to be there. So I may interview him. We'll see. So just stay tuned. Keep watching me. Keep watching her on social media, and that way you won't miss a beat and you'll know all of the things. Dawn, any last final words that you want to share?
No, I just look forward to seeing everyone, all who can, come out on Saturday and support the BBNSE. And also, connect with me on social media. You can always DM me if you have questions, comments, whatever. I love to connect with people. And that's it. This has been a wonderful experience. You'll also have to ask me what event I tagged along on and invited myself to out of the state of Virginia and had a ball. So you can stop by the table and ask me that one.
Okay, so I'm putting in the comments, ask about the cell phone, the cab,
Oh goodness.
and
Yeah.
what else? Oh, we went to New York Fashion. Like, it's a whole story. I think we should go
It
live
is a
one day
whole
and just
story.
tell the story because it's gonna be real funny now. It's gonna be really good. It's gonna be really funny now.
It's
But
gonna be
yeah.
funny.
So I'm telling them, ask about the cell phone, ask about the cab. What else is like a hint that I should tell them to ask for to remind
Oh,
us or to remind themselves of the story?
oh no, that's good. That
That's
right
good.
there will jog
All right.
memories.
I'm gonna
Yes.
put the bus. Ask them about the bus.
Oh Lord. Okay. That's fine.
Okay. Oh wait,
Like
and
you
we went to the
said.
beach. That was your first time
Oh
going to the beach
my
in
gosh,
New
we
York.
did. It
Yes. Oh, we
was.
have some
It absolutely
beautiful
was.
sunset pictures. Like the
You
sun was
see?
ginormous. The sunset was absolutely gorgeous. So we had a great time. So yeah, you got to
Yes.
come because you got to ask her the story because she's got to tell you the story. And she's a good storyteller. So you got to come May 17th, this Saturday, 2 p.m. The show starts. The mic is open. Come get on the mic. If you don't want to get on the mic, that's fine. Come and listen to everybody else that's going to get on the mic. Elmira said, happy anniversary. Thank you so much. And thank you to all of you that have helped me make this possible. And Marie says, congratulations. Over on Instagram land, they just waving. They ain't saying nothing. But thank you so much for being here, stopping in, watching. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you, Dawn, for being here. And with that said, we're
Thank
going to
you.
have a good night, or what's left of it. And I'm going to look forward to seeing
Yes.
you guys on Saturday, May 17th, 2 p.m. at the Berg in Woodbridge. And you'll find the information on Dawn's page, as
We
well as
will.
on my page. All right. Bye for now.
Have a great night.